Forget the map for a moment and listen. In Spain, the air is warm with music, every street hums with centuries of stories, and the sunlight seems to dance just for you. We'll wander through 10 of Spain's most beautiful and iconic places, and you'll find that each one is a story in itself, waiting to become part of yours. Spain gives you the feeling of carrying home. From the golden shimmer of Andalusian evenings to the quiet grace of medieval plazas, this land holds a rhythm that slows your steps and fills your senses. If this journey calls to you, please like this video and subscribe. Maybe Spain has a way of stealing your heart before you even notice. 1. Barcelona. Barcelona is a living symphony of stone, sea, and human energy. You can hear a guitar's flamenco rhythm drifting from a hidden square, the clatter of wheels on cobblestones, the soft rush of the Mediterranean at Barceloneta Beach. At its heart stands La Sagrada Familia, Antoni Gaudi's dream in stone, still unfinished after more than 140 years. Its forest-like columns and stained glass rivers of light feel alive, as if the basilica is still growing toward the sky. While Madrid plays politics and Seville whispers flamenco, Barcelona shouts in modernist curves and Catalan defiance. Construction crews still puzzle over Gaudi's hand-drawn plans, racing against a 2026 completion deadline that locals bet will stretch into the 2030s. Step into Park Güell, and you're inside Gaudi's fever dream serpentine benches covered in Trencatis mosaics, where broken ceramics become kaleidoscopic masterpieces. La Rambla pulls you into its constant current, past flower stalls and cafes where the scent of espresso mingles with sizzling seafood. Slip into the Gothic quarter, and the city changes tempo. Narrow alleys, Roman stones, hidden chapels, balconies overflowing with red geraniums. Gaudi's Casa Batlló ripples like a storybook, while La Pedrera's rooftop chimneys resemble sentinels watching the streets. At sunset, the magic fountain of Montjuïc bursts into light and color, and from the fortress above the Mediterranean glitters beyond the harbor. End your day in Mercat de la Boquer area, where piles of jewel-bright fruit, cured Iberico ham, and the cheerful calls of vendors wrap Barcelona into one perfect moment, bold, beautiful, and unforgettable. 2. Madrid. Madrid doesn't whisper its secrets, it shouts them from rooftops at 2 a.m. when the city truly comes alive, and the rest of Europe has long surrendered to sleep. In the heart of Spain, the capital blends royal grandeur with a nightlife that hums until dawn. By day, sunlight glints off the white stone of the Royal Palace, Europe's largest, with 418 rooms used for state ceremonies. Inside, gilded ceilings, velvet-lined halls, and the echo of history remind you this is still the official residence of Spain's monarch. Step into Puerta del Sol, the symbolic center of the country, where street performers draw crowds and locals cross paths beneath the famous clock tower. Just a short walk away, Plaza Mayor opens like a grand stage, framed by terracotta facades and alive with cafe chatter. At the nearby San Miguel market, the air is thick with the scent of sizzling chorizo, fresh oysters, and sweet pastries. For a breath of green, El Retiro Park offers tree-lined promenades and the shimmering glass of the Crystal Palace, where contemporary art glows in natural light. Yet, it's Gran Via after dark, where Madrid shows its true colors, neon bleeding into ancient stone, where flamenco guitars compete with honking taxis and every corner cafe stays open until dawn, refuses to wait any longer. At Cibele's fountain, crowned by the Roman goddess in her chariot, Real Madrid fans flood the square to celebrate victories. And if you can take a day trip an hour north to the Alcazar of Segovia, a fairy tale fortress shaped like a ship's prow, once a royal palace, later a prison, now a museum of Spanish history. Madrid is where formality meets fiesta, where you can sip coffee in a royal garden by morning and dance until sunrise. Three, Seville. Seville was built to seduce the senses. In the heart of Andalusia, the city glows with orange-scented air, the click of flamenco heels, and the warmth of sunlit plazas. At its center stands the Cathedral of Seville, the largest Gothic cathedral in the world, where light filters through soaring stained glass, and the tomb of Christopher Columbus rests beneath vaulted stone. This is Andalusia's beating heart, where three cultures, Christian, Moorish, and Jewish, collided and created something entirely new. Just next door, La Giralda, once a Moorish minaret spirals skyward, offering views over a maze of terracotta roofs. Across the square, the Real Alcázar unfolds like a living tapestry of Moorish artistry, carved stucco-tiled courtyards and gardens where fountains murmur among citrus trees. Still used by the Spanish royal family, it's also starred on screen in Game of Thrones. In Plaza de España, a grand crescent of bridges, canals, and painted alcoves celebrates Spain's provinces, a set so cinematic it's graced Lawrence of Arabia and Star Wars. Wander into Barrio Santa Cruz, the old Jewish quarter, and the city narrows to shaded lanes lined with flower-filled balconies, tapas bars spilling laughter into the streets, and intimate venues where flamenco still burns with raw emotion. Here, dinner starts at 10 p.m. and conversations stretch until sunrise. The Guadalquivir River flows nearby, once the gateway to the New World, now a ribbon of calm for evening strolls. Seville operates on passion time, where everything happens later, louder, and with more soul than anywhere else in Spain. Four, Toledo. Toledo rises like a stone crown above the Tagus River, its walls catching the golden light like a medieval crown that refuses to tarnish. Once the capital of Spain, this mountaintop city is known as the City of Three Cultures, a place where Christians, Muslims, and Jews lived side by side, leaving behind a tapestry of faith art and architecture. The Toledo Cathedral dominates the skyline, its Gothic spires and intricate carvings sheltering masterpieces by El Greco, whose deep, luminous colors. Nearby, the Alcázar of Toledo stands as an enduring sentinel, once a Roman palace, later a fortress and military academy, and a pivotal site during the Spanish Civil War. In the winding streets, you'll find synagogues adorned with delicate Moorish arches and mosques whose courtyards still hold the hush of prayer. The monastery of San Juan de los Reyes, commissioned by Ferdinand and Isabella, drapes its cloisters in carved stone chains to honor Christian prisoners freed from Granada. Cross the Puente de San Martín, a 14th-century bridge of 5 grand arches spanning the Tagus, and you might recall the legend of the architect's wife who sacrificed herself to save the bridge from collapse. In the heart of the city, Córdoba Square has been Toledo's gathering place since medieval times, a marketplace, a stage for festivals, a witness to history. Don't follow maps here. Toledo rewards wanderers who lose themselves in alleys barely wide enough for 2 lovers, where Damascene sword shops neighbor medieval synagogues in the meeting of cultures etched into every stone. Here, the past isn't gone. It walks beside you. Five. Santiago de Compostela. Santiago de Compostela greets you not with fanfare, but with the quiet weight of 1,000 years of footsteps. Nestled in Galicia's misty hills, this city is the final destination of the Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James, a pilgrimage that has drawn travelers from across the world since the Middle Ages. Santiago pulses with something deeper, the collective prayers of millions who've walked here seeking forgiveness, healing, or simply answers to questions they couldn't voice at home. The cathedral rises from Praça do Obradoiro like a Baroque symphony frozen in granite. The cathedral's Baroque facade rises above Praça do Obradoiro, a broad square named for the workshops that once labored to complete this masterpiece. Pilgrims arrive here with tears, laughter, or simply silence, each carrying their own story. Behind its towering facade lies what believers call the tomb of St. James the Apostle. The Camino Frances, the most famous of the pilgrimage routes, threads through medieval towns, rolling vineyards and coastal winds before reaching Santiago's cobblestone streets. The Hostel dos Reis Católicos stands sentinel beside the cathedral, originally built as a pilgrim hospital in 1499. Today, it's a Parador luxury hotel, though its Gothic arches still remember when it offered bread and medical care to medieval wanderers. Beyond its sacred heritage, Santiago is also a city of simple pleasures. Wander its arcaded alleys, listen to the rain on slate rooftops, and follow the scent of pulpo a la gallega, Galician-style octopus sizzling in olive oil. 6. Cordoba, in the scorching heart of Andalusia, where summer heat shimmers off ancient stones. Cordoba unfolds as Spain's most layered secret, a city where 3 civilizations coexist together. Step inside the mezquita, and your breath catches. This isn't just architecture, it's a miracle frozen in stone. 850 columns rise like a petrified forest, their red and white horseshoe arches creating infinite corridors that seem to pulse with whispered conversations between Allah and Christ. Nowhere else on earth does a cathedral nave slice through the heart of a mosque with such audacious beauty. But Cordoba's magic doesn't end at its famous monument. Every May, the city explodes into the festival of patios, when jealously guarded private courtyards swing open their doors, revealing explosions of geraniums, jasmine, and bougainvillea that would make Monet weep. These aren't just gardens, they're inherited masterpieces passed down through generations. Wander into the Juderia, the old Jewish quarter, where narrow cobblestone alleys suddenly open onto hidden plazas, where orange trees drop their fruit like golden coins. The Calleja de las Flores, Street of Flowers, frames the Mesquita's bell tower through an archway so perfectly composed if orchestrated by fate itself. 20 minutes outside the city, Medina Azahara rises from the earth like a ghost of impossible grandeur. Once the most magnificent palace in the Western world, it lasted only 74 years before civil war reduced it to whispers and broken marble. Walking among its ruins, you can almost hear the fountains that once ran with rose water, see the ivory and gold that once caught sunlight like captured starfire. Seven. Mallorca time slows differently in Mallorca, not because of jet lag or vacation bliss, but because this Balearic jewel operates on Mediterranean time, where siestas aren't laziness but wisdom, and every sunset deserves its applause. Mallorca serves up 300 days of sunshine like clockwork, but beneath those postcard beaches lies an island that's been collecting stories for millennia. It's a place where Romans built cities, Moors planted gardens that still perfume the air, and where pirates once prowled the same coves that are now popular with cliff jumpers. The Serra de Tramontana Mountains spine the northwest coast like a sleeping dragon, harboring villages where stone houses cling to cliffsides. Valdemos's cobblestones echo with Chopin's piano melodies. The composer wintered here, finding inspiration in morning mists that roll through olive groves like ghosts of ancient music. But Mallorca's real magic happens in places maps barely mention. Cala Varquez hides behind a dusty trail that weeds out the casual tourists. Those who make the walk discover an amphitheater of white limestone where 60-foot natural arches dare you to leap into waters. The road to Sacalobra twists like a ribbon thrown by the gods, one curves that car commercials dream about. One moment you're threading between cliff walls barely wider than your mirrors, the next you're suspended above turquoise bays where sailboats drift. Palma Cathedral's Gothic spires pierce the skyline with Gaudi's restored fingerprints visible in every detail, while beneath the city, Roman ruins whisper of empire from underground chambers most visitors never see. Mallorca doesn't just offer escape, it offers a profound transformation where every quiet cove invites you to discover a part of yourself you never knew was there. Eight. Segovia, 1 hour north of Madrid, where golden Castilian wheat meets azure sky. Segovia rises like a living history lesson carved in stone. But don't expect dusty museum displays. This city pulses with stories that refuse to stay buried. The Roman aqueduct strikes first, slicing through Plaza del Azoguejo with the audacity of ancient engineers who built for eternity. 167 arches march across the cityscape, each granite block fitted without mortar, a 2,000-year-old puzzle that still delivers water today. Yet Segovia's crown jewel perches on the western cliff like a stone galleon frozen mid-sail. The Alcázar de Segovia doesn't just resemble a ship's prow, it commands the confluence of two rivers with nautical grace that inspired Disney's fairy tale castle. Built in the 12th century as a fortress, this shape-shifting marvel transformed from royal palace to state prison to military academy, each incarnation leaving architectural DNA in its towers and halls. The Hall of Kings displays carved monarchs whose wooden eyes have witnessed 5 centuries of Spanish drama, while the throne room's mudéjar ceiling blooms with geometric patterns, Christian castle embracing Islamic artistry. The keep's climb rewards brave souls with 360-degree views across the Guadarrama Mountains. You'll understand why medieval kings chose this eagle's perch. Below Segovia's old quarter spreads like illuminated manuscript pages, each terracotta roof hiding family recipes passed down since Columbus sailed west. Don't leave without tasting cochinito asado, suckling pig so tender, it's traditionally cut with a plate, not a knife. In Segovia, even dinner becomes performance art, connecting you to traditions that predate the New World itself. Nine. Granada. The scent of jasmine and orange blossoms drifts through narrow cobblestone streets as Granada awakens beneath the gaze of the Sierra Nevada peaks. This isn't just another Andalusian city, it's the final chapter of 8 centuries of Islamic rule in Europe, written in honey-colored stone and whispered prayers. At 430 feet above sea level, Granada guards its greatest treasure, the Alhambra. This crimson fortress, whose name means the Red One in Arabic, defies every European architectural convention. Completed in 1354 by Nasrid sultans, it's not just a palace, it's poetry carved in marble and cedar. Step into the Court of Lions and time dissolves. 12 marble lions support a central fountain, each one unique, their mouths channeling water through an ingenious 14th century hydraulic system that still functions today. The Mecchanus ceiling above seems to float impossibly, each honeycomb vault hand-carved by master craftsmen who signed their work with geometric perfection. The walls themselves tell stories. Every surface blooms with Arabic calligraphy proclaiming, "There is no victor but Allah." In the Hall of Ambassadors, light filters through star-shaped windows, casting ever-changing shadows that transform throughout the day like a celestial clock. Beyond the palace walls, the Generalife Gardens cascade down terraced slopes where Moorish kings once strolled among cypress groves and reflecting pools. Granada's magic isn't confined to monuments. In the Albaycin Quarter, cave houses called cuevas tunnel into hillsides where flamenco was born. Here, Gitano families still live as their ancestors did, and haunting Cante Jondo drifts from hidden courtyards. Visit at sunset when the Alhambra glows red against purple mountains, and you'll understand why Washington Irving called it a palace that might have been reared by the magic of the lamp. Ronda. The bridge at Ronda is not merely a connection between two sides of a town. It is a monumental feat of stone, suspended over an impossible void. It's here that time seems to stand still, leaving you in a moment of pure jaw-dropping wonder. This isn't another quaint Spanish hill town. Ronda is a city split in half by the El Tajo Gorge, a 120-meter chasm that looks as if the mountainside was torn in two. Spanning this immense void is the Puente Nuevo. The bridge doesn't just cross the chasm, it defies it, a monumental feat that took 42 years to complete and countless lives to build. Walk to the bridge's center and peer down. The Guadalquivir River whispers 300 feet below, reduced to a silver thread by distance and vertigo. The local legend is as dramatic as the view it claims. The bridge's architect, José Martín de Aldehuela, fell to his death during construction. However, records suggest he died peacefully in bed. The old town sprawls north of the gorge, where narrow cobblestone streets wind past whitewashed houses whose windows frame impossible views. Here stands Plaza de la Ciudad, birthplace of modern bullfighting, where matadors once faced death in an arena carved from living rock. But Ronda's true magic isn't its monuments, it's the moment you realize you're standing on a medieval fortress town. When evening light sets the gorge walls ablaze and swallows dive through the canyon like living shadows, you understand why Hemingway called this place the most romantic in Spain. We've walked through medieval plazas, tasted life in sun-drenched courtyards, and felt the past and present breathe together in a country that moves to its own unforgettable rhythm. From the dizzying heights of ancient bridges to the quiet rhythm of Andalusian streets, Spain has shown us a land where every corner holds a timeless story. If one of these Spanish moments has left its mark on you, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you wish to wander further together, subscribe for more journeys where history and soul meet.